everything to just be perfect. And that
Okay.
is not what life is. So I think you've got it. Did you get it?
Got it. You coached me well. Thank you.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, I had hope that you could do it.
Hey, and there you go. You got your dose of hope today.
Yeah,
And
got a good dose too. Right when I
yes,
needed it. Right when I needed it.
it's amazing how that works, Bishop.
It
How
really
right
is.
when frustration and challenges erupt, here we are with a dose of hope. And I wanted to start out first off. I love starting out any broadcast that I'm doing with asking, "How are you doing today?"
Well, for a young man that will be 70 next year, I'm doing fine. I'm just grateful that I
Yeah,
have my health more than anything. It's mentally, spiritually, and physically. But it's a good day. It's a good day, and I'm just glad to have this opportunity to share with you this afternoon.
now I want to start, by asking you what is your definition of hope?
Well, my definition of hope is simply believing that what I dream for and hope for is already there. I just need to position myself to receive it. You get it? I
Mm,
think that a lot of people hope, but a lot of things we're hoping for is there. We just have to be in a position to receive the things that we're
yeah,
hoping for. I know it's a whole different look at what we say hope is, but as I have matured through life now, I just found out that what I'm hoping for should just be in a position to receive it. Hope is dreams, is confidence. When I think about hope, and more than anything, just continue to have a great expectation about what life brings each day. That's what hope is.
I love that because everything about that sounds doable.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Like
good.
nothing in your definition was complicated. It just requires us to be in a position to receive it. And is that something you've always felt, or is that something that life allows you to experience the more you do
No,
like years on this earth?
no, I haven't always felt that. That comes through growing and maturing in life. It takes working hard at something, and what you work hard for, you never achieved it. And what I
Yeah.
found out that what I was working hard to achieve, it had always been before me. To be honest with you, it's just whether or not I was open to go in the direction that I needed to go in to accomplish something that I said I was hoping for. It's always there. It's just whether or not we're in the right mind frame to see what is before us. But that came with life, to answer your question. That came with growth and maturity. And you got to live to develop that kind of thinking that I'm talking about right now. It doesn't happen overnight. I can only talk about this because I've lived a little bit now, and it
Yeah.
makes a difference. Your conversation is even different.
Now, I like to prepare for these conversations,
Hmm.
and I got a couple of questions for you. I told you off before we started. My first question for you, and I don't want y'all to be deep. I have it written out here. How can we find hope and positivity amidst the challenges and uncertainties of today's world?
Well, I have to talk from what I do and what I practice. First of all, if you're a believer, we have to have hope that God has a hand of protection on us. And we live in a world where we're always going to have difficulties and things like that, but there's always an end to the difficulties. It's just going
Mm,
through the process. We live in a world now where all the things that we're experiencing, war and just conflict, look like people are always battling with some type of conflict, but there's always an end to what we think that you cannot go through.
mm. I love that. The end of something that
Yeah,
we are going through.
yeah.
And
There's always an end.
I want to talk about that a little bit, Bishop.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is it that we feel a lot of times that even though we're going through something, that there is no end?
Because it's the human side of us. You get it? We want the end now. But what we're going through is just a process that's maturing us for something that's really better than what we're experiencing right now. Nobody likes
Yeah.
the process, you know. There's a beginning to a process and there's an end, but it's all about being processed for what is to come. And then you learn how to trust the next time you are dealing with something else in life that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. Now, my next question for you is, and it's crazy that today is National Acts of Kindness Day because I had already written these out.
Oh, well.
Um, my second question to you is, what role can small acts of kindness play in amplifying hope in our communities?
Oh, wow. Small acts of kindness plays, a major role. It could be you're sitting in a restaurant, and I tell you a good example. I went out to eat breakfast this morning, and there was a gentleman there that I knew, and I told him when I walked in, spoke to him, didn't eat
Yeah.
breakfast with him, but I said, "I got your breakfast this morning." And if you had seen the smile on his face, just the fact that I said I would pick up that tab, it's things like that that bring hope in people's lives. Those little small act of kindness like that, and really just speaking to someone, you know. And I tell you, a great example is the owner of the restaurant came and sat with me today and began to, it's not something he would normally do. It's the first time he ever even came up to sit. He usually walk by and speak, but he sat down and talked to me today, and we had a great conversation. And I thought, man, what an act of kindness that he would just sit here and spend some time with me. And we
Yeah.
just began to talk to me about what was going on in the world, a little small act of kindness like that. Nothing big, just a little simple things in life.
That make big impacts.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Simple things in life that make big impact and lasting impact also.
Now, I want to go back because I said this earlier that I've been with you since I was 19.
Yeah.
One of the things that I remember most about my time with you is that you always created an atmosphere at your church, our church,
Mhm.
where random acts of kindness would be done sporadically. A lot of times um to the notion that we wouldn't know the impact until people would literally be weeping and saying, we didn't know how we were going to pay our rent or our mortgage, or my son or my child had this come up and I couldn't afford to pay it. And it was almost sometimes to the exact amount, if not more than what they needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does, and this is a sporadic question. When you look back over your time as a leader within our community, is this something that's important for you to know, that it will forever remain known that you stood for hope, for building people, for seeing the possible in what we consider impossible situations, and that you did that with no wanting of like people to know what you did? Because a lot of times now people run to social media, they give someone some money, they feed
Mhm.
the homeless, everything is documented.
All right.
But for over 20 something years, I've watched you do this just with no motivation for people to know other than that God is good. How do
Yeah.
you get to that point?
Well, how you get to that point. I think the best way for me to answer that is when I did that, I did it unconditionally. Um, I did it because I love people. I did it because I love God first of all. And we would do things like that just because you want to do something that will impact somebody else's life, that they will want to go and do the same thing that was done for them for someone else.
Yeah.
That was why I did things like that over the years, and also so they can go tell the story about an act of kindness that was happening in their lives, that made a difference for a long time. For a long time. For
Now
me, I
for
mean that.
somebody,
Uh-huh.
no, because I want to make sure I get this out, because I love these answers, and I love how like it's just all so simplistic and just practical. But I know I can feel somebody, Bishop, saying, but he's a pastor. He's supposed to be that way. He's. But what about the people, just in layman terms, regular people who show up
Well,
and say, what can I do to encourage someone like that?
well, I don't, and I'm glad you said that he's a pastor. I don't do things because I'm a pastor. I do things because I'm human first. I think
Mm,
that because I pastor a church, that's the first thing you say. You do it because you're a pastor. If I was not a pastor, I will still do the things that I'm doing now that give people hope in life, because
yeah,
at the end of the day, people just want to know that there are people out there with a kind heart that do things and we don't expect anything in return, if that makes sense to you. I love
absolutely.
pastoring, but first of all, before I'm a pastor, I'm a human being just like that person that I'm helping out. I don't do things because of the title. I do things because of the person that I am and this amazing God that we serve. And you can't do anything like that without God touching your heart, if that makes sense to you. And that may
Yeah,
surprise some folks. I do it because I'm person first, man. I just love being kind to people
yeah,
and making a difference in people's lives. And it goes a long ways. And also, it's rewarding when you see someone's life change based on something that you were blessed to do, to just
mhm,
bring light into somebody's life, especially the time that we're living in now.
yeah.
It's so much, it's bigger than just being a pastor or a preacher or a teacher. I just want to know, are you a human being with a great heart and a good spirit to make a difference in this amazing world that God allow us to live in?
Man, everything you're saying is like part of the reason I wanted to do this, is because like we have to cultivate our mindset. We have to walk in a way where we talk often about just like not living selfishly, thinking of others. I love that you put the word human on it, because now humanity is being defined by so many things that people call subjective definitions, right?
Mhm.
But at the core of who we are, and we witnessed this during Katrina, when you took money off the table, when you took all of nobody's cars, we saw broken down cars floating with luxury vehicles.
Right,
When
right.
all of that didn't matter,
Right.
all we were left with was how we were treating each other. And that to me is what made us as humanity at our best. I saw people sharing food, saw people cooking. I have a grill. You don't have any way to do it. The way we rallied together as a community in one of the most tragic times in the face of humanity proved that we could be capable of more.
Mhm.
Now, I want to ask you, what message of hope with those that are listening would you share with them as we navigate through these unprecedented times? Like, we don't have to get into all of the things that are going on, but we all know that we're facing some things globally that are impacting everyone. What do you say to that? What message of hope would you give us?
You know what? I got a simple answer for that. Is to live your life, but live your life where it literally sends a message of hope. It's the actions, it's what we do, it's what we say, and what we do or say, it carries a lot, and there's so many messages in that. So if I would have to leave with somebody, if I would have to leave someone with a message of how you can make a difference based on your questions, just live your life. But live your life where your life is saying there's a message in the way I live, there's a message in what I say, and what I do releases hope in your life just to see another day. You know, we
Yeah.
are hope to each other. You got it.
Mm,
God put us on this put us on this earth to make sure that we can give somebody another reason to make a difference in somebody else's life, you know.
yeah.
And then just keeping it simple that makes sense to you. That's my message. Live a life that has a message of hope. Say things that brings a message of hope and
Yeah.
believe things that will always lead you to hope, which positions us to receive what has been put in this world to bring healing in so many areas of our lives. There's hope, there's healing,
Mm,
and there's help. And that help comes to our creator.
wow. What a moment.
Yeah.
I just want to sit there for a minute, man. That was powerful, man.
Well,
You know, like and for those that want more of this with Pastor McCarter, you actually have a wonderful, incredible project that you can listen to online,
yeah.
sing with your ears.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You
tell us a
produced
little
that
bit
project.
about. Yeah,
You
I
produced
did.
that project. You know, you produced that project, and what a great project that we did together years ago. That
Yeah.
project came from a teaching series that I was doing, seeing with your ears, you know, based on what you hear, not what you
Mhm.
see, but seeing with what you hear. And that simply means that you have trained yourself to operate in faith, because faith comes by what we hear. You get it?
Yeah.
It's so important to make sure you hear what's going on and what's really being said. And pretty much that's what they're seeing with your ears. It was a project of hope. They're words of dedication, and they're words that pushes you to another place in living from the Seeing with Your Ears project. And man, what a great project, even though it's been about 10 years ago we did it, but it's
I
still
still
good.
listen to it.
Yeah.
I
Oh
still
yeah.
I still listen to it, and I encourage you guys to check it out. You can simply search his name in
And
iTunes, Apple Music, or online. And
yeah.
go ahead.
And
What you
and
got,
one other
Bishop?
thing I want to say, we did another project. There's this revelation that I got, you know, from the Lord, is that we are the CEOs of our lives. So
Yeah.
if you want to bring hope to someone, act like you're the CEO of something. And being the CEO of your life, that means that life is a company. I just felt this thing. It was so good when we did that. Life is a company, and this company that you're running called life means that you got hiring practices and firing practices. And if there's anything in your life that you know does not work for you, you got the authority to fire it. If there's something in your life that you want to work for, you can bring it in. Disappointment, you're fired.
Mm,
Hopelessness, you're fired. You get it? Faith, you're hired. Expectation, you're hired. That's what
yeah.
brings hope in our lives, when you realize that God has called you to be the CEO of your life. And what a great time that we're living in now, to know that you've been put in charge of something.
Man, as much as I would love to just continue on, man, I told you my vision for this and what I felt in my spirit was
Yeah.
just to give people pop on, give them a dose of hope. Now, if they want to continue hearing you speak, and you speak like this every time I hear you, tell the people how they can get in touch with you and how they can connect with you.
Well, you can connect with me, of course, on all my social media platforms. On Wednesday nights, I do a night of refreshing, and you definitely can go back and see our teachings on Sunday on our Victory International Christian Center page and our Morning Star Church of Christ, Disciples of Christ church pages also. But you can definitely connect with me in those platforms. Facebook, my Instagram also. And more than anything, social media is where we are now. All platforms. I think I got a couple more platforms out there that you have produced for me, but
Yeah,
just Google my name, and where you see it, go for it, and it will be there for you. It will be there for you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you so much for giving us your time today, Bishop.
Thank you for
Um,
having me. I appreciate it.
I hope everybody was blessed and fulfilled by hearing this. And I say this as a not as a means of just trying to amplify myself or anything, but there's so many people suffering silently.
Yeah.
Just send this to someone that comes to mind. The first person you think of, share this to them. There's a reason. There's so many people that need a dose of hope, just
Yeah.
something encouraging to get them through. Like you said, Bishop, a lot of the times we're already going through it. We just don't know where the end is. So that encouraging word, that encouraging message that allows you to go all the way through is what we look to do. Man, I would love to have you back, man.
Hey,
You know,
looking forward to it.
I enjoy this. Now, before we get out of here, we had some amazing comments in here. Shout out to Kelly Alexander. Kelly said, sing with your ears blessed and calm me down a many of times.
Thank you, Kelly.
She said, we are waiting on volume 2. So
Okay.
am I, Kelly. we gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done. Shanitha McDaniel, shout out to Doc, said, you operated in wisdom. Don't we know it? Bishop stays operating in wisdom.
Thank you,
And then
Shanita.
we had Jacqueline. Shout out to Jacqueline. Jacqueline Ware said, Beps and the Apostle. Strong arm.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Jacqueline.
we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Listen, if you guys want more of this, like I said, please connect with Bishop. You can definitely come back and share this, and we appreciate everything. Any final words, Bishop, before we get out of here?
Hey, the only thing I would say is make sure you get a strong dose of hope each and every day of your life, and then make a difference in somebody else's life. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.